In a slowly decaying futuristic city, social class is determined by the amount of time you spend in a virtual world called the interface. Hi guys, my name is Emmanuel Filteau and this is Tales from the Interface Live, a weekly show in which I share my drawing screen with you and answer any question you might have. So feel free to post your questions in the comments. I always appreciate likes, follow, subscribe, all that stuff helps out a lot. So please do subscribe and like and what I just said. So this week I would like to welcome a few new followers. Audacious Cresp, who just followed from Facebook. And Rag Bédestrateur, a fellow Québécois, I believe, who joined a couple of days ago while I was attending a live by 400 Cas, another live show from here. So welcome, guys, and I hope you enjoy the content. Feel free to post questions, comments, stuff. I always like to hear what people have to say. So what's happening now? Well, as you might know, I just finished the Kickstarter for my third book. So I got the proof. I made a few changes to the colors. I should have the books next week, I think. Maybe the week after. I hope not, but it's a printer who has other books to print, I guess. But I think they should have them by next week. So I'm very excited about that. For sure, I'll be showing those books when I get them. Maybe I'll do a special event or just share them next Saturday. But it's extremely exciting because this is like 2 years of work that finally came to fruition. So I'm very excited about seeing those books. And so today I'm working on the fourth book because, you can't stop, right? So yeah, I am working on the fourth book. I could have done some other drawings, but I decided that why not? I'll show you this stage of the work. It's an important stage. I call it the storyboards phase or sketch phase. I don't really have a name for it. But let me just share my screen. You can see what I mean. So it's a very rough drawing, but it's not as rough as it used to be because really the first step looks like those lines here. So extremely rough, just positioning people inside the panel. So but now I'm kind of going into every each panel and try to make it interesting, see if it flows, read the dialogues again, see if it makes sense, and that's kind of what I do. Yesterday I just went through page 6 here on the left, and today I'm kind of looking at page 7. So this phase, it's kind of fast, and it's good that it's fast because it allows you to correct anything, if you're missing a panel, if something's not clear. So once I'm done doing that, I'll just bug some of my friends to read it with me and tell me if anything is unclear or if it doesn't make sense somehow. So I do have a group of beta reader to which I share that. And it's extremely useful. If you're making comics, you should have that. Just it can be anyone really. You just want some friends that can spend a couple hours with you and just poke holes in your story. Like does it make sense how it is as a moment? I already did it for the script because of course before I even start doing that, I write a script of the story. And I read it with one of my friends who's a director and he directs like shows on television and super useful. We found a lot of ways to make it better. Yeah, so this is kind of the result. But you know, as I put it on the page, I find a lot of stuff that can be improved. So now I'm kind of just tweaking the dialogues and trying to make it overall better. Okay, just setting up my screen as well. All right. So yeah, so just try to make the best use of the space. I think, you know, definitely dialogue is an art, and I need to get better at it, I think. Also, I'm using software which not necessarily, you know, I could draw my bubble by hand, but I do appreciate the flexibility of those. But I want to get better at it. So he says, so glad you decided to join us. Let's go grab some food before it's all gone. And one thing I've been doing, I haven't been doing enough in the past book, was cutting down into more than one bubble. So it does make it much more dynamic. So instead of having two, I'm just splitting it in two, and maybe like it also makes it easier to position the drawing when you're going like that. So I'll have one bubble at the bottom and one at the top. So you want to make it as square as possible, and then tighten up the bubble around it. So and one thing about it is you want the space, the padding around, to be even throughout the book. So I kind of have a tight style that I'm trying to stick to, and then I kind of compare pages and try to make it work all together. There's a new book coming out, which I'm very excited for, from the guy who created the font that you see here. I forgot his name, but he has a website called Blambot, and that's an extremely valuable resource for indie comic author like me, because he gives a lot of fonts for free. Like sound effect and stuff like that, you know, it's kind of hard to come by a decent source for them. But he does have like professional fonts, and the one I'm using right now is one of them. So I did buy that one because I thought it was worth it. But you know, I would be willing to try another one. But I'm kind of happy with this one. It's a font that's used by one of a local artists I like a lot. I used to use another one, but I thought this was a bit easier to read. Now my comics are not necessarily super big, so that's why the font needs to be a little bit bigger in the page, and that can create some challenge. Okay. So he wants Gauthier to follow him, so the arrows are pointing in the wrong direction. You always want to, you know, use the direction of the action to kind of direct what's happening in the panel. So like he's gesturing him to follow him, and the sense of reading is left to right. So I want the character that's gesturing to follow to be on the right of the panel. Overall, it makes more sense. So really what I do is, as you see, it was very basic. So I just want to maybe just clean it up a little bit and make it so that we can actually make out who the character is. So this character here is he's called Buttocks, and he's kind of a brown noser employee of the company that my character Gauthier goes to work for. And he's kind of introducing him to the company. And he wears this kind of belly shirt. I gave him in the last book. Actually, he had another one before, but I kind of changed it. And, you know, we have different shirts, right? So, vary the wardrobe a little bit. It's important to make your characters recognizable. You know, often you read comic and all the characters look the same. So giving them like a piece of clothes or a haircut is a good way to do that. Okay, so he's just kind of gesturing him here. Like this. And then there's Gauthier, who's just following. You know, this might change a lot, but for now I'm kind of going for this kind of point of view, but as I go along I might decide that it doesn't work, which is fine. That's why I don't want to spend too much time on these, but at least make them a bit more readable. And again, this panel I probably want to flip it. Yeah, so that the action goes towards the right, although they're going towards the camera, but I think it's better to flip them. I think something like that could be cool. Let me clean it up a bit. Good thing is to draw outside the frame to get a better, kind of a better layout. Because it's hard to see, how do I say that? When you're drawing outside the frame, you can get a better sense of how the character is structured, because the frame kind of tweaks your perception of things. Okay, so this guy eating chicken is on the here, and then Gauthier answers this. Okay, oh, he's not. Should move this here. Whoops. And you want of course you want your dialogue to go from left to right and from top to bottom. So my bottom text here should be more to the right to make sure that we understand the sense of reading, the direction of reading. So this should be pointing here. It's a little awkward because he's the one speaking first, but he's on the right. So I'm not sure about that one, but it's easy enough to flip. I can change my mind later. I still think it's clear. Maybe move this one a bit more and maybe something like that. So I'm not sure what he's going to be eating. I was thinking of chicken, but at the same time, I don't even know if they still have chicken. I guess it could be fake chicken. I don't know. I'll have to think about this. Maybe just a weird sausage or something. Just, you know, you can play around, you know, you're free. So what I'm doing here is kind of trying to see because I did the whole arm. Now I can see that probably my shoulder was wrong. So just by having this whole character drawn out, it just makes it better overall to understand how the end is positioned. But this is, you know, a drawing without reference, so it's a bit rough. This is a hard pause. I probably will want to have a reference shot, and it can be very easy. You know, just take a picture of yourself holding a thing like that, and you know you're good. It's good enough. So it's gonna be something like this when it's cut, and then I want to add Gautier. I like to draw different depth with different colors. So here's the. I don't need this anymore. And you kind of want to go and look at your pages and make sure that you don't repeat any composition too much. And I think I've been pretty good up to now for these. You know, I don't stay. I have a full body shots and then close-ups and waist. Yeah. So I think it's going pretty well. All that, it's an effort to not be boring. It's nothing more boring than just seeing the same face looking at you all the time. Unless your whole comic is about the dialogue and there's some kind of meaning to having the one face there all the time. It's a tool you can use. Is it appropriate for what you're doing? Well, you be the judge. I think it's rarely appropriate, but it can have an effect. At least it's not something that's terribly useful for what I'm doing, usually. But if you really want to focus on the character's emotion, I think it can work pretty well. So you can have like a series of panels showing the character with different emotions as he's thinking about something. And you know, that can be a good way to use a single point of view that can work and be efficient. I've done some of it sometimes, but it's not the kind of comic that I go for. Elite. Probably going to be robots there guarding the entrance. Maybe not. I can see it as a group of, less advanced in the hierarchy. So, whoops, I used the wrong layer. What's this? Okay, let's try again. We are going to have a very warm and beautiful week next week. I hope you guys can enjoy it. I hope that COVID has allowed you to stay home and enjoy it. If it did this, you have to see the good part in things, I guess. It certainly has for me, allowed me to spend more time drawing, more time with the kids, more time taking care of the house. Elite. Wonder if I can do like some wings or something. Could be cool. I don't know. Like some fancy door decoration. I don't know. mattress. Okay, so this is delete, and then I'll use another color just to make them come out. So this is also a clue when you're doing your color, like some certain elements will need to stand out. Using a different color in your sketch can help with that. Just give, because the goal of this is really to clarify the drawing and also to kind of make sense of the story. So if you can tell elements apart more easily, I really think that, you know, using different colors like that is a great tool. Something I've never done with traditional, but because it's hard to find a erasable color pen, as far as I know. I could be wrong. Okay, that's good. So here you go, you have a scene that's more far apart. So, you know, just the idea is really don't be boring, jazz it up, you know, change your point of view. You know, making it interesting is more important than making it perfect. So even though, I mean, maybe it's not perfect, but if it's fun to look at, I think it goes a long way. I just think of why did Image, you know, why did Image was so successful? It was because of that, partially at least. I mean, when McFarlane, you know, he started in at Marvel, he kind of rocked the house because he was having those crazy point of views and extreme thing, and you know, a lot of his drawing were not perfect, but they were fun. They were fun to look at, and they were all about the you know, being in your face and all that stuff. So I think that's one reason why he you know, he was able to gain a fandom. And all the Image kids were kind of, they were not all kids, but all those guys were kind of the same mentality, and that's why they started Image. And it was a great experiment that did good for a little while there. But it went out of hand, and people started to think more about, you know, making money than making comics. I mean, because of, you know, they started out having all those alternative covers, and it was more about the value. You know, people were excited, oh, I'll get this comic because it's gonna be worth a lot of money. So there weren't a lot of people were buying just because it was gaining value at that time. And then it ended up that these things are worth nothing now. So this would be Gautier. See, I can easily tell it's him by adding 3 points on his head. So that's a good thing about this, as I was saying, like giving him you know, something special to recognize him with. And I've been thinking I might change his I might actually change it a little bit later in the book as he grows. more into that company, I think having a different look might be interesting. So see, we're having a very one-dimensional panel here, and then they walk in front and then go towards us. So I think that's kind of fun. They should probably be a little bit bigger. I think it would make more sense. Maybe like this. And then they kind of turn towards us. As I said, they're working left to right. The chair. So this might be a fun thing to draw. So I shouldn't get too crazy on detail right now, but I think it's going to be an interesting thing here. I can't stop thinking about my books and when they are gonna arrive. It's so difficult to hold myself, thinking about it. I try to think about something else, but then my mind always goes back. When I'm gonna be so happy to have them by hand, in my hands. Even if they're not perfect, just to know, that it's done and I don't have to worry about it anymore, because I keep worrying about, like, there's going to be a big issue with it or something. Man. And I'm having a small run, I'm not printing a lot of books. And even then it's stressful. I can't imagine if I had to do a big big quantity, how stressed up I would be. I think I don't know. I'm really not sure what I would do. I maybe hire somebody to double check me, because it's so hard. When you're looking at something for too long, you kind of I need to have perspective guides here. When you've been looking at something for too long, you've kind of don't see the details. There's some stuff you don't see, and I know I've been seeing the third book so long that there's something I just don't see, and then you're gonna correct something, but then you forgot why that thing was like that to begin with. So there's a point where correcting is no longer a good idea. So here I'm creating a perspective ruler, and if you haven't seen, it's in layers, perspective rulers, and so these are extremely useful. You need to understand how perspective works, so I do recommend you looking at that. And there's an excellent guide called Perspective for Comic Book Artists by David Chelsea. Super good. I really recommend it. It's made for comic artists. It's a lot more fun to read than some other more maybe detailed should I say detailed? Because it's pretty big. I mean, it's a pretty big book. They cover a lot of stuff, but it's made in a way that's easier to read than many more academic. Maybe I don't know if I want to say that they're more. Some books are more academic, but certainly an easy read. More easy than other formats, I could say. And since you're a comic artist, you're pretty used to reading in comics form. So, yeah, highly recommend it. And there's two of them. There is a perspective for comic artists, and then extreme perspective for comic artists. And I enjoyed them both. There's another book I want to get, and I found a guy on YouTube drawing cars, and it was very good. I want to get better at drawing cars and like technologies in general. Okay, so yeah, that's about it. I should have done that before trying to draw this chair by using my imagination. It's good to do it by imagination. I just mean before I try to make it better. So the first layer, just go wild, try, and then try to rein it in with those perspective guides. I think that's the way to go. Okay, so and the difficult part about this one is that it's angled back. And I don't know how good I am at that yet, but let's give it a shot. So basically the seat will be using the normal angle. I think what I'm most concerned about is those bars on the side, because they're gonna come out like this, and then like this, and then you want to match them on the outside, and that's always tricky. So if when I do it by eye, I never can quite nail it. I guess it's a question of habit, probably. So it should be shorter, like this. And then I'll just clean it up a bit. If I can get this basic shape down, it's kind of easier to see the rest. You don't need to be perfect, but I think you need to have a good basic shape going on. So at least your things are aligned as they should be. So like this. I think that's it. And you can see that I'm not very good because it takes me 100 layers to get it right. All right, I think I kind of nailed it. So like this, like this, like this. Just clean it up, remove all construction line, and then when you do the final, you can make little curve the sides, make it more. But I think having a basic cubic shape at least anchors your drawing in the right place. it should be like this. Erase. There you go. And again, to find the middle, if you don't know, you make a cross. I'll put it in the other layer. Boop. And that's something I use all the time, even though there's probably better ways to do it. But it's very good to show where your center is. Okay. So, you know, people, you know, say, oh, just use SketchUp and use something that's already in SketchUp. I like to create my own stuff. It's not necessarily efficient, but, you know, I like to do it. So now that my seed is anchored, I can look at the top and kind of see if it makes sense. So I can draw a cube that would surround that back piece. So let me just draw a kind of a cube here that would, you see the horizon is right here. So if it can tell me that the top of the chair would be, there wouldn't be much, you wouldn't see much of the bottom, a little bit. So it should probably, maybe I can make my thing a little bit higher. Yeah. So basically my chair would be angled within that zone. Maybe make it a little bit bigger. So that's kind of how I like to do it. So like this, and then I can make my my angle. And then can know that if I draw my cube, it's like this, right? So this point and this point should match like this, and then gives me kind of a rough shape. So this is the angle that would be at, but I want to lean it more. Okay, so let me redo this. Okay, so first draw a cube. And then I really want my angle to be stronger. I'm gonna create a new layer again. Okay, so I think this angle should be good. So now I know I can make the same on the other side. No, these lines will follow, sure. If I want to make it like that angle, I need to extend this. But you wouldn't see the other side, so okay. I can go back to the red, and then kind of do this. So this is about how my chair should look. So I can, again, I have my cross here, but now it won't work because I'm at an angle, but the cross system will still make sense. So I can use maybe this layer and just cross to make sense of where my center is. So between those two lines. So with this basic shape, now I can clean it up. So maybe I'm going too far into construction for a sketch. I think it's okay now. I think I'm getting a bit over myself, and that's a common problem. Probably went too far here, starting to construct the chair because I was too excited to do it. But basically it would be like that, making it a bit shorter. You know, just try to follow the center line. And okay. Yeah. Alright, so beside that chair will be my two characters. Yeah, so I think buttocks will be in the back here, and the chair smiling. Should probably be angled a bit like this, and then he's looking towards his right. Something like this. So he's kind of inviting him to sit down. So I'll have to kind of figure out how to draw this. Him touching the chair. But for now, I think it's serve the purpose of improving the readability. So this here. Wonder if the dialogue should move somewhere else. I don't want to put it on the chair, but you know, there's something that bugs me about this. Like, it's a bit too, maybe like this, it's a little bit better. Yeah. I mean, I didn't like that the two dialogues were on the same height. Okay. Something like that. And there's going to be a lot of details on this panel. Like I was thinking of having a monitor here, maybe. And there's some stuff coming out of the chair, and like, well, this will all be defined, you know, when I start to mess with this a little bit more. But I think the goal of this is not to get hung up on too many details, really to just try to make sense of the action. And I think it's, you know, you can tell what's going on at this point. So this page is done. And we're almost out of time, only 7 minutes left. Started early too. So with that, guys, thank you so much for being here. I think, you know, I'm gonna close this very soon. So just before I leave, I'm gonna draw a bit more, but I want to thank you for being here. For if you've bagged the book, thank you so much. As I said in the beginning, I am waiting for the copies. I've approved the proof that I got from the printer, so I think I'm gonna receive the book next week. I really hope so, because I'm so eager to see them and start shipping them to you guys. I know, you know, time can be hard, you know, and I really appreciate people who, you know, are willing to spend their hard-earned money on my entertainment. So thank you so much for that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this, and I'll post an update on social media. You know, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, all that stuff. You know, you can find me there easily. And also there's the webcomic, so if you want to read the past issues of Tales from the Interface, it's all there. You can also purchase the older books. I will soon put a link to the new one on the store, but first I want to finish the orders for the third book. You know, of course my Kickstarter supporter will come first always. So you know, I'll send those first, and then I'll put a link to the new one on the store on my website. And that's about it. I'll just maybe start looking at this page here. And for this one, I kind of want to break away from what I traditionally do, and I have kind of crazy panels going on here. I used to do that a lot, and then for this comic I decided to let go and go more into a standard kind of layout. But this is kind of a crazy moment in the story, and I thought that, why not try to make some crazy layout for this page specifically. And so that's what it is. Just lower opacity. So this one also, I'll need to I just want to clean it up a little bit, not necessarily to spend too much time on it. I really will need to take a good look at the perspective of that thing. But basically he's strapped on the chair, can't move. It's for his own good, of course. They don't want him to hurt himself. But yeah, he's kind of strapped on to that chair, and then there's some thing plugged onto him. He's kind of looking on the side and being a bit worried, and I don't know what the hell is going on here. What did I sign up for? So he's on his chair. This. I'll definitely need some kind of reference, but I think I got the shape pretty fairly good. I mean, it's a rough drawing, so that plays for it. I mean, when you're rough, it kind of your brain puts the stuff in the right place in your mind, even though it's when you're trying to clean it up, that's where it all breaks apart. But it doesn't look too bad. But it's not an easy scene to do. And you see, when I was saying earlier, the chair on the previous page, if I start spending a lot of time on it at that page, when I'm on this page and I add more detail, it might break the other one. So you kind of want either, I try to be fast, right? So either you spend a lot of time doing concept art, or you just run with it. So since I go over all my comic pages before I finish everything, I kind of do the concept as I write the pages. So I don't want to finish the chair on one page without having a look at how it looks on the other pages. For my next book, maybe I'll go more into concept. But for this one, that's how I'm going. No, it's not perfect, but I want to make it fun, and I want to make it at a decent speed. don't worry about it. It's fine. Nothing's gonna happen to you. Anyway, guys, this is about it for me today. I have a lot of stuff to do. It's a beautiful day, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. I will go work out in the yard, probably take care of the garden a little bit. So looking forward to that. I hope you guys will have a great weekend, a great week, and I'm always here. So message me, and if you want to talk about anything, just let me know. Just message me and we'll have a chat. And with that, bye guys, and see you